Welcome to the AI Church Assistant channel. In today's episode, we will dive into one of the Bible's most iconic and mysterious stories, the rivalry between Cain and Abel. Was Cain's murder of Abel purely a result of jealousy, or was there more at play behind this tragic event? Let's explore the hidden motivations that may have driven the Bible's first murder. Cain and Abel, the biblical narrative. As told in Genesis 4:1-16, Cain and Abel were the first sons of Adam and Eve. Cain, the eldest, was a farmer, while Abel was a shepherd. When they each brought offerings to God, Cain from his crops and Abel from his flock, God accepted Abel's offering but rejected Cain's. This rejection stirred deep anger in Cain, who ultimately lured his brother into the field and killed him. At face value, this story is often understood as a lesson about jealousy and anger. Cain was envious of Abel's favor with God and allowed his unchecked emotions to lead him to murder. But is it possible there were deeper motivations behind this rivalry? More than jealousy, the deeper motivations. To explore what might have motivated Cain beyond mere jealousy, we must consider the symbolic nature of their roles and offerings. 1. The struggle for identity. Cain, as the firstborn, may have felt entitled to greater favor from God. In the ancient world, the eldest son traditionally inherited authority and status, so God's rejection of Cain's offering could have felt like an attack on his very identity. Abel, the younger brother, represented a different way of life, a shepherd who perhaps symbolized a new direction, more in tune with God's ideal vision for humanity. Could Cain's rage have stemmed not just from jealousy, but from fear that his role as the family leader and his very identity were being threatened? 2. The offerings, a symbolic clash. The type of offerings Cain and Abel brought to God hold symbolic importance. Abel offered an animal sacrifice, which later in the Bible would be associated with atonement and reconciliation with God. Cain, on the other hand, offered produce from the ground, a ground that had been cursed in Genesis 3:17 after Adam and Eve's disobedience. This difference might point to deeper spiritual themes. Abel's offering could represent a way forward toward redemption, while Cain's offering symbolizes humanity's connection to a world still marked by sin and curse. This rejection of his offering might have felt like a rejection of his entire way of life. 3. A sense of entitlement and anger. Cain's feelings of rejection may not only have been tied to God's favor, but also to his status in the family. As the firstborn, he might have believed he deserved the approval that Abel received. God's favor toward Abel may have triggered feelings of inadequacy in Cain, pushing him over the edge into violent anger. The deeper frustration of not being accepted or validated could have driven Cain to eliminate the threat that Abel represented. A broader lesson: humanity's struggle with sin. Beyond Cain's personal motivations, this story holds a broader lesson about humanity's struggle with sin. God warns Cain in Genesis 4:7, "Sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it." Cain's failure to master his anger allowed sin to control him, leading to devastating consequences. His punishment, becoming a restless wanderer, symbolizes the alienation and spiritual disconnection that results from unchecked sin. The conclusion, the tragic outcome. In the end, Cain's act of murder was not merely the result of jealousy, but rather a complex combination of factors: identity, rejection, and spiritual struggle. The story of Cain and Abel reminds us of the dangerous power of unresolved anger and sin in our lives. It also highlights the need to confront our inner struggles and seek reconciliation before they spiral into destruction. Click the link in the description to create your own biblical content using our AI Church Assistant tools.